Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am the Witch of the Scrying Night, and today we're going to be talking about the magical herb. No, it's not mugwort, it's not skullcap, it's none of those things. Today we're going to be talking about weed, we're going to be talking about cannabis, and specifically we're going to be talking about the bill that was introduced by Nancy Mace on the 15th of this month that is aimed at legalizing weed. So we're going to talk about that. Now, to some of y'all, you're like, oh, Liz, this is a weird pivot. And I agree, it's a weird pivot, but here is my rationale, okay? So it's important to talk about this because a lot of people within our community actually uses this, yeah, that's proper, uses this herb to, in their practice, in their everyday, whether it be for medicine, practical uses, religious uses, what have you, recreational uses. It's important. It impacts a lot of people within and out of our communities, and it is important for a lot of people. And I think that weed and cannabis is an okay topic. And honestly, I think that this is going to be a weird community, a weird channel anyways. So whatever, right? We're just going to go with it. We're going to go with the flow, right? So what is this bill talking about? And now my screen's over here, so I'm going to be tilting this way, so I'm really sorry about that. But so the bill that was introduced by Nancy Mace on the 15th is called the States Reform Act, and this has been formally introduced. It is not a draft. It is I don't know if she has the votes whipped up or anything, but let's look at this real quick. What does the bill talk about? So the very first thing that it talks about is removing cannabis from the Controlled Substance Act, which is very important. It is something that everybody wants. It should have never been there. It is basically categorized along the lines of heroin, and it's ridiculous, and it hurts a lot of people by being there. And so that's the first thing that the bill tackles. I believe that Chuck Schumer's bill also tackles the same thing. The next thing that the bill explains is it's going to be regulated like alcohol, which I think is a great example of how the herb should be regulated. It should definitely just be sold to people 21 or older. It should certainly be regulated. It should, for us to be able to consume the way, alcohol is consumed, I guess. I mean, that would also kind of, well, you'll see. So the next thing that the bill allows is for states to make their own rules surrounding the use and sale of cannabis within their borders. So this allows for local laws like banning it within the state. I believe it's definitely going to be banned or tried to be banned in a couple of states, especially those states that are very much red, that are very much opposed to the use of cannabis, and benefit from the banning of the herb itself. So these states are, Tennessee would be one of them. Now, with it being regulated like alcohol, and for the states to have the ability to regulate it the way that they want to within their borders, I would say is going to go down. Is going to come down to something like the way alcohol is within wet and dry counties, where some counties do not allow the use or sell. I think it's just the selling of alcohol, maybe the use of it, whereas the next county over would be a wet county and would allow the sale of it. I think it's going to be along those lines. I don't know how long it's going to last, but seeing as there are some counties that still exist that are still dry counties, I can see this happening for some counties. And it's probably going to start off with the majority of the counties, if not the whole state, being a dry state, and then slowly being rolled back based on the voting power that the people have within that state and the capability of changing the laws based on their voting leverage. Okay. So, for example, a state like Tennessee doesn't necessarily have a lot of voting leverage for their constituents to vote to vote in favor or against the herb, because they've really just kept it within the hands of the representatives to make and pass laws in accordance to cannabis. Tennessee hasn't had a bill that has passed that has allowed people to actually vote on it on a on a local level. So let's see, what's the next big thing? So the next thing is pot communities. Pot companies can access the financial system. This is actually really important for anybody anybody that knows. These dispensaries are still being raided today by the federal agents and they basically, when they take everything, the money is also included because it's part of illicit illegal acts, basically crimes, the dirty words, and so they're also more prone to being robbed, and it's just unsafe for the people working there, and it's hard to run a business when your money is just all sitting there, right? So I know that they've gotten creative, but I mean, how creative can you get, honestly? Like, it's better just to be able to have it in a financial system, in a bank, and be able to pay taxes on it like everyone else. Additionally, she proposes a 3% excess. I can't speak today. A 3% tax that will not change for 10 years. This is a difference. This is different than Chuck Schumer's. Bill, because he, I believe, proposes a much higher tax percentage, and it will be changing. It will be changing every like 2 to 3 years. I think another really big thing, the tax thing isn't necessarily that big, but I think the really big thing that people have been actually looking into when they look at these the bills that have been drafted or proposed, or when people talk about the legalization of cannabis, is the call of helping out those people that have been negatively impacted in an unjust way, just because of the use or of having cannabis or using cannabis. And one of the things would be the call for the release and expungement of people convicted of nonviolent cannabis-only crimes. So I just want to explain this very quickly, but I'm gonna try to be concise with it, and explain, keep it 100, that her office, Nancy Mace's office, has already ran the numbers on this, and they only estimate that only 2,400 people will be released from federal prisons. Of course, it's just federal prisons, but you have to also understand that this is relatively a low number based on how many people are actually in a prison right now. And I would like to think that a lot of those people are there because of cannabis. Of course, I think it's good that she's saying that these people that are members of a cartel or gang and those who are convicted of driving under the influence would not be released and would not be expunged. That's fine, but I think that I feel like this is going to be twisted in some sort of way that's going to that is just so like not a lot of people are released. It's going to be worded in some sort of specific way, and I already see this happening. That it's really just it's just going to be for show. Basically, this part of the bill is going to be for show. So a lot of I mean there's a lot of things within her bill that are like Chuck Schumer's bill, and perhaps she did because Chuck Schumer's bill was proposed before her bill, but it's still a draft. It has not been introduced and it's not final. And I feel like she pulled a lot of that stuff from Chuck Schumer's bill, but also she kind of just worded it a little differently, so it's not so it's not advocating too much for people in the justice system. It's kind of trying to not make it so polarizing, but at the same time, she's trying to cater to the Republicans and also the Democrats that are kind of on the fence of whether to legalize or not legalize pot. Because she is trying to whip up those votes. She's already a Republican. And honestly, I don't even know if she can whip up the votes. I mean, even as a Republican, could she do that? Like for the from within the Republican Party, for the Republican Party? Like, I do not know. I think like, in a way, I think she would have support from a lot of Democrats for this. But at the same time, I feel like there's still a lot of just on both sides that just do not want to pass a bill or a law that helps legalize weed. So with that being said, I don't necessarily know too much of where things lie there. I feel like the bill, there's a lot of things that can happen with this bill, okay, because it was introduced. Of course, they can gut the bill, they can pass it and just gut it completely, and then there would be nothing left of it. They've done that before on both, I'm pretty sure both sides can agree that it could happen. Another thing could be that they remove a lot of this advocacy work, and who knows? I mean, I honestly don't know. I'm a little skeptical of what can happen based on what I've seen and what I continue to see on both sides, on all sides. And I think that it's going to be really hard for her to pass it, only because a lot of the people that are going to be voting on this bill are still in the traditional mindset of the war on drugs. And when you have people like that, that are still in that mindset, but are time has moved past them. There's going to be a lot of issues with that. And for one, we have a president that is very conservative when it comes to that topic. And I do believe that there's going to be pushback on both sides of it, and it's going to be really hard. Now, I don't know what has happened since then. This is probably going to be something that's going to come up next year. I don't think that it's going to come up towards the beginning of next year. It's probably going to come towards like maybe 3 to 4 months in. And the reason why is because things like this tend to be left on the back burner. Because, I mean, no one wants to vote on it. I think there are, I think there are people on both sides that want to vote on it. But will they vote on it? That's the difference. And can they whip up the votes? I don't know. Right now, I don't think that they can necessarily whip up the votes. I think that there are, and if they do, so another thing is, if they do, they'll probably want a lot of revisions on it, and they're probably going to want something to do, I don't know, it's going to be more on the regulation side of it, who can get their hands on it, why. So it's going to be more like, they're going to really try to set this back. So it's not going to be on the same level as alcohol. It's going to be more on the, they're just going to keep pushing back on it. I don't know what else to say about it. I honestly wish this bill the best, and hopefully we can see it on the other side. Because my hopes are very fucking low. I've been waiting for Chuck Schumer to introduce this fucking bill forever. The bitch is still in draft mode. Okay, so if that's the case, and this lady who's first year in her office fucking made this shit and put it out, and she's a Republican, I don't know. I really don't know what can happen. Yeah. So, with that being said, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe. Please. It would help me. It would help you out. And also leave a like down below. If you don't like it, that's fine. Let me know how you feel down in the comment section below. We can have a little chit chat. I like to talk to you guys, you know that. So I'll see you on the flip side. And if, whenever I see you, you have a lovely Thanksgiving.